G'day, my name's Brendan from Bushfed and welcome to my little raised broccoli patch. Today we're going to be giving you the 3 top tips to grow much better broccoli in your raised garden beds. Let's go. Time of year to plant. So broccoli's really like the cooler temperatures in between that 15 and 25 degrees Celsius range. So the prime time to be planting your broccoli is to get a fantastic haul is certainly by, I guess, sowing those seeds in the autumn heading into the winter. I really think that once you get to about September, you're way too late and you've missed the train. 2, prepare a rich, very well drained soil. So what I'd recommend here is to get your soil preparation intact before you even start thinking about sowing or planting seeds. Now, what I like to do first is I get my soil base and I like to mix in a very rich manure mix. I like adding some fish frames in there that I've crushed up and really get that soil turning, but most importantly, give that soil a little bit of time to compost. Other thing that's super important with your soil is that it drains exceptionally well. So one of the problems we had out on the farm here was the fact that our topsoil, our grey soil, was very hydrophobic. So that was no good. What we needed to do is we needed to mix that in with a whole heap of organic matter as well as some manures. I whack a little bit of fertilizer in there and a bit of other, I guess, soil enrichment techniques in order to get these broccolis planted or sown in a soil that they're going to absolutely thrive in and produce a fantastic yield. And step number 3, or tip number 3 if you like, watch out for pests and water wisely. Now, the one thing with broccolis are they're terribly prone to butterflies and caterpillars and so forth eating their leaves, a bit like that, okay? Now, one of the best methods I've found is by certainly putting a very fine mesh over the top of them. That's I guess repels a lot of the butterflies and a lot of the caterpillars in a way, but it does keep them off to an extent. Another thing is that when I don't really like the idea of a lot of pesticides on my stuff. So you can use some organic oils and so forth, which I have a natural repellent for the aphids and butterflies, caterpillars, etc. and whatnot. The other thing is, as I said, water wisely. Broccoli needs a bit of water to really start growing and growing quick. But you don't want to overwater them to the point of their soil being soggy. And that's a super important tip there. Make sure that water is not soggy. They don't want soggy feet, which is why the well-drained soil is great. The advantage, I suppose, as I said, with growing these in the cooler temperatures, as mentioned earlier on, is the fact that there's generally a lot of water here in Western Australia in the winters. So they generally water themselves. This lot here, we haven't watered since we've sown them. And I mean, look, they're thick, they're great, and they're growing fantastically. In fact, a lot of these here have got beautiful little heads coming up already. Fantastic. Anyway, guys, there's my top 3 tips to growing better broccoli. I hope this helped you. And if it did, don't be scared to give it a thumbs up, comment below if you've got any other top tips, or essentially subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us a lot. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode. See you later.